again. So hopefully I'm actually streaming this time. Seems to be the case. I turned my camera off today because I'm going out later and I couldn't be bothered to wash up until I'm actually going to leave. So here we are. Today I am going to attempt to make some basic UI components for the recipes side of the UI. Crafting, sorry. There we go. Right, so the way we need to do this is we need some repeatable UI components that get dynamically created. So something to populate recipe data from, and then we need the controls to select the recipe and hit craft and so on and so forth. So we need like just a couple of basic sets of UI. So in here, we're going to create a new C++ class. So we're going to make a C++ class for it that we then make a blueprint of. That way we can do calculations and we can basically do all of the actual logic inside the C++ class, and then consequently just use the blueprints to pass data around and display more simplistic things. So let me just double check. I'm pretty sure it's a U widget that I tend to inherit. Yeah, user widget. There we go. Right. So we want a recipe UI. There we go. Gotta do all the usual stuff. Delete that. That should be everything. So this will just represent a F recipe data structure. So if I find that in here, somewhere, I'm structs. There we go, recipe data. So all we need to do is have some. Oh, hang on, it's going to be full recipe. This one here, full recipe. So we're going to have a. So we can reuse the item UI. So what I'm picturing, there was like a UI app thing that I did for this before. Some kind of mock-ups. Let me just sort this out over here real quick. Sorry, just account things just in case. Yeah, this is for another game I was working on, but you can do some really cool stuff with this. So this is just a simple mock-up thing. So if I do new projects, blank project, and let's just call this so what I'm picturing, so currently we have the item UI. So if I just make this 100 by 100. So, oh, good grief, thanks for that. I didn't need that. So this would be like wood. Right. So we'd have that. There'd be a picture. I don't know, we'll just put this in like that can look picturey. That will do, right? So we have this, blah, blah, blah. This. Can this auto? I'll look into that another time. Right. I haven't used this in a while. So you have this, right? Blah, blah, blah. So we got the overall UI thing here, arrange, send back. Right, so can I group this? Should be able to group. So we got one of these. So if I copy this, so it'd be like this, and this could be like, I don't know, nails 30, and then, don't know, something like this. It's got to be pretty simple. It's probably good to think about this now, though. Make this like size 30. Right, copy paste, just whatever. I don't know. Oh, whoops. One. Whatever, right, something like this, right? So this is obviously a wing it, that'll do type thing. So this is what we want. So we've got kind of a dynamic bit of UI, and it will have inputs, outputs, and maybe I could have that as text up here, but I think most people have seen enough crafting systems to know that thing in equals thing out, right? So this is what we kind of want to make. So with that in mind, because that's the easy bit, that's just passing some data, data appears. We therefore go to here. So this needs probably a reasonable amount of things, does it? Actually, it's probably going to be almost nothing. I think this is going to be quite empty, actually. Let's would it be? I guess if I make a protected rather than public, so we do this and we go. Oops. Yeah, I want all this kind of stuff. Maybe inventory wasn't the right one to use. Let's find one that has a bit more interaction to it. Item UI is probably the best example. Here we go, right. It's blueprint callable. It stores them all as that. Okay, fair enough. I'll just do a typical thing for it because it'll be easy. So, U property. So this is going to be F res full recipe. Oh, hang on. And if I close this, it didn't give me the option to reload, so I might have to, yeah, it's missing from here, so my syntax highlighting and ReSharper cannot find it, so I have to manually add it back. So just drag the files across, and there you go, right. Job done. So this will be recipe, and this will be return recipe. Okay, wonderful. Yeah, sure. Actually, I think it has problems with const methods. We'll see how far we get with this. Okay, perfect. So we've got that, so we can put that in there, and then I guess I would want a void set recipe. It's probably, yep, come on. Pass by reference, wonderful. Let me make that blueprint callable just in case. Cool, so we've got this. So we can read the information inside of here. So we can just do a simple loop, create widgets, and go from there, basically. I should be able to do this pretty much straight away. I think. I can't imagine I need much more. Oh, actually, and if I break that, we need a update method. Blueprint implementable event. So if we go in here, so this is going to be how we trigger the fact that the information's changed. So I'll explain this in a minute. Yeah, this shouldn't be. So normally in hang on, let me just. Yeah, okay, I'm pretty sure that's right. So let me think about this. Yeah, so what this is doing is this method will basically, we are saying the method update recipe is a blueprint implementable event, and this makes it so the compiler will generate a version, a sort of implementation of it that then gets automatically overridden by a blueprint. Private function. Oh, okay, yeah, sorry. I wondered why I was complaining. Okay, there we go, right. So this allows us to call methods inside the blueprint from inside C++ without having to know anything. And because I don't need to pass any information here, realistically I would just add it to this. So once this is compiled, I would just add, I mean, I might be able to do it now before it's finished. So it's a bit random. So if I just do this in here like this, so this is now going to set the recipe and then tell the UI to update. That way we can kind of have UI hanging around that then coincidentally updates as and when things happen, basically. Yeah. Now, what's something I needed to remind myself of? Because it's possible to do something that I couldn't figure out how to do before. Because so in my other UI, I dynamically create a grid of items, right? So the inventory system generates new UI as and when the inventory gets updated, or first created, sorry. And then coincidentally, turns out one of the methods, so I thought you could do add to grid from C++, and you can, but it never worked. And the reason it never worked is because the assumption one of the methods you can call, I think I've got an example of it where I tried to do it and it didn't work. I may have left it commented out. Dynamic, because this is for the inventory. Item updated. So this uses maths to figure out which row and column to put the items on the grid. But I think I have a saved question for it. Okay. Uh, let's just try that. Oh, UI. Right. So all we have to do now is we go to the actual UI somewhere in here. Blueprints, I guess. I need to really need to sort this stuff out better. So we go blueprint class, all classes, recipe UI. BP. There we go. So it's called the same thing with just a simple underscore BP. Oh yeah, it's the slots. And that's why. Yeah. You have to cast the slots to something else, otherwise it doesn't do it properly. Yeah. Alright, it's alright, cool. So now we need to, well, literally recreate this basically. So what we want is, so obviously we want a border, we want panels. Oh, this is where it can get a little tricky. Oh, I'm going to say we want a horizontal box, and then we also want, so we want a horizontal box in a horizontal box, followed by some text and another horizontal box. Right, so the text is going to be the equals, wherever the text is in here, it's often like basically at the bottom. Alright, oh no, here it is. Wow. It's practically invisible. Where's the, alright, font. It's all collapsed. You'd think the most important thing you want to see is just there. Where is this equals? Okay, this border's got... Why... Okay, right. So that's manipulating that, which we don't really want. So we actually want this to be... there we go. Okay, right. So if I change the alpha to about that, the border should collapse to its content. Somewhere there's a 10 and 10. Okay. Am I just missing this? Oh. It doesn't... Okay. Oh, this should be, yeah, this should be that. This should be that. That should be center. This should be... Yeah, that and that, I guess. Something like that. Okay, so this horizontal box should be the, called inputs. Apparently. Huh? Right, that's what happened. Is a variable, outputs. Variable, right, okay, this should just collapse to content, somewhere. What's forcing this size? Desired, thank you, there we go. I was beginning to wonder. So if I just put like a slider in inputs and a slider in outputs. Yeah, fair enough. Oh, I suppose outputs wants to be, yeah, not as vertically challenged. Okay, there we go, right. So we compile this. So we've got this. And for the sake of testing, I can forcibly put some item panels in here, I suppose. I'm curious, I've never actually used my own stuff in here. I wonder... I can. Perfect. Okay, so if we had, say, we can use these as tests. So we could do test item in 1. Test item in 2. Test item out 1. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's basically what I was expecting. So if we get rid of that, nice. Pretty straightforward. If we change this to be, I don't know, something, well, nah, it's got to stand out a lot more than that. Doesn't really matter too much. So, yeah, because they won't be... Cool, okay. So that will do for now. Obviously, these will be dynamically created, but should I... I might be able to do this from the blueprint entirely. Maybe. Hang on, I'll think about that. For now, we'll just make the dummy methods and stuff. So in here, we should have functions. No, that wasn't what I wanted. There we go. Right. And there should be a recipe update. There we go. Recipe update. Right. Here we go. So, now I should be able to do what I was planning on doing, to like add things to a grid and stuff like that. So I'm wondering whether I could attempt to do that here, because if I can get it working in one piece of UI, I should be able to do it in theory with everything else. So what we want is we need the blueprints to set some properties. So let's see if so this variable type horizontal box. So can I access horizontal box? Let's see. So Unreal Engine 5, toolbox C++. Unreal panel widget. So I might be able to do. Oh, there it is. Right. Include. So we call it input box, output box. We go U property. Each of those. They're protected, so and let me just figure out oh wait, I think I can actually do it in here like this. Aha. Blueprint read write, that's what I'm looking for. And then category recipe, cool. I swear, back in the day, right, this kind of stuff was almost impossible because there was like 4 million like things you could do, and it was never documented properly, and there was no examples of it, and you just kind of sat there thinking, for God's sake, how like can I just get some, you know, information for this stuff? And obviously it's gone to the point now where I've got ReSharper and I can just control space, and here's literally fucking everything you can do and a full explanation. If you hang on. Oh, there should be usually. I mean, if I think it's having some trouble, but yeah. So you know, you can hover over and it says what it does. Yay! Great. Fucking game changer. So now, if I recompile the code. Nice. Right, so in theory, in Ha, we should be able to do on construct, I guess. Oh, it was there, but there we go. Inputs. Set output box. Outputs. And now we have a link to that. So when this gets constructed, it sets those. So now we can access them in code. So now these will equal that. And then in here, we have this, obviously we have this update recipe, but if I requisition this, oh, whoops, and we go here, generate definition, whoops, we do this. So in here now, we can do some fancy things. Right, so what we want, how do we get game instance from here? Let's think about this. Do we need it? So the inventory gets it through controller. So let's keep it simple. Do it the same kind of way. This has the item container. Do we ever... Oh, we can do this. Okay. So in here, we don't need the player, we just need the... It's probably best. So that will happen there, and then we can get a game instance from here. So we could have a base game instance. Game instance, yeah, you property it, come on. Equals base play dot get base game instance. Look at that, it's beautiful. Right, so, and here we can go if base game instance not equals. We probably want to extract this to another method. Refactor this, extract methods. Turn. Didn't quite do what I anticipated. That's my bad. Oh, whoops. I forgot about that one. We'll make that blueprint callable just in case, as usual. Right. So what we would need is... what are we going for? Okay, yeah, so we need the table manager to be, or something in the table manager to produce those recipes for us. So wherever I've done it in here, I can just cut and paste it out. Okay, so in here, go here, we go here. So we want to, right, so we want a private T array full recipe, recipes. Then we want a T array pointer full recipe. Get recipes. And we want to go in. No, don't create a breakpoint. Go in here, generate the definition. Then in here we can copy this. We have recipes. We can get rid of it in a second. But if we go if recipes dot is empty, then we can populate it. Then we can get rid of recipes here. And we can do turn recipes, right. So this will create it in the first instance. I don't know why it thinks that's a typo, can I? Yeah, I'll just do that for now. Right. Okay, so that will generate the recipes, and lo and behold, in the player controller, I can literally do equals table manager dot, funny enough, get recipes, and get rid of all of this, and we're done. In fact, I can even eliminate it further and just literally cut it out there, put it in there. And look at that. So now we've got the same code. So we don't need to worry about that anymore. Now from here, so I could quite easily now do get this dot. So we could have I could make it so when it's set recipes called, do I do it by ID in here and then it finds it itself? Would that be the best way to do this? Perhaps. I'll leave that for now, I think. Yeah, okay, whatever. We'll cross that bridge another time. Anyway, so we don't actually need to. I can't remember why I started thinking I needed to do that because I've got the full recipe thing here. Oh, I know, because I needed to have access to the items, item IDs and things. So what we do here is for f in input output data IOD in recipe.inputs. Yeah, this is where we need this to come in. So we have f, it's f item data, or is it f instance item data? How do these work? That's interesting. Do they need the container? Technically they don't. I need to separate this drag drop functionality away from this particular part of the UI. We'll cross that bridge another time. So we want instance item, well, we want both basically. Instance item data, f item data. So this is going to equal iod dot hang on. Are we making it from scratch here? I think we are. Okay, so for a start, we need to do, so item data equals get game instance, yeah, dot table manager, get item data, so iod dot this. We're making the assumption that these are items for now, but I should probably preemptively the dot item. Yeah, let's wrap it like this, because then I can sort it out. So I know they're inputs because I've already figured that out from there. So this gets the ID of the item. Well, I mean, this should be the same as what I've already done in here. Yeah, so Yeah, I mean, it's just this, isn't it, that I need, really. Yeah, okay. Um, how do ID new amount? That's all we need. So we want ID dot ID IOD dot amount. And then we want to item UI. Item UI. How am I doing this elsewhere? I think I need to. That's annoying. It's basically used everywhere. Here we go. Right. Create widget. Okay. Item UI. Oh, I need to get the actual one, don't I? So I need to get the reference to the blueprint rather than the other one. So item UI BP. This would be a copy reference. Go up here. We want this to have a constructor. Recipe UI. Okay, that's cool. So we want to do here. We want you. How am I doing it in the controller? There should be T subclass you user widget. So we want T subclass of you user widget. This is going to be item UI class, and then U property. Takes a while to sort this stuff out, right? See if I can remember. Um, um, hang on. It's close. It's something like that. Oh, yeah, okay. I mean, yeah. You just do it in one line like that, and then you go if found item UI dot succeeded item UI class equals found item UI dot class. Right, there we go. You might as well do it. Right. Okay, so now we can do that. Now we can use this in here. All that just to get that. But it's there, right? And then, in theory, we can do input box dot. So, child to horizontal grid, item UI, and then this we can do dot set item data. So I want to see how I do this in the inventory UI real quick. It's this one, just to make sure. Creates it. It calls update item data. Okay, so we do update item data, IID, ID, and null pointer. Hopefully that shouldn't fuck anything up, but we'll see what happens. Now, whether this works or not, we'll see. But yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get there, I suppose. And we should actually we want something. Okay, if I'm going to make a method. So if I go refactor extract method, add item to box, outputs, and now we can okay, wait, this should be output box, and hopefully, damn, does it not? Okay, fine. I was really hoping to get the Java level things going. Where's my add item to box? This box. I'll just do it manually because it's easier. Box. There we go. Now we don't care about the which box it goes to, and now we can use the same code for both inputs and outputs. It would arguably be easier to do this in a single loop, but whatever. Here we are, I suppose. Okay, so if I pass this a recipe, then in theory, it should do everything it's supposed to do here. Okay, cool. How do we want to do this? I think I'm going to add it to the top of the player's UI by default, just as an example recipe, and then use this. So if I go here, so what I could do is use the craft button now to populate a recipe. So if we get rid of this real quick, so we would have a link to the UI. What do we currently have? I think it's, yeah, it is the inventory UI. So I could add it to that temporarily. it's a bit crap, to say the least. Um, oh, I can just, actually, I know, I'll make a method in here and I'll do it through blueprints because it's easier. So what I could do is close that. So we want the inventory UI. No, we want the designer. That's interesting. Alright, sure, whatever. Player inventory. So we got a scroll box. I'm going to wrap it with a vertical box. And then I will add a recipe UI here. Okay, so that will sit on top of the player's inventory. So if I just hit play, yeah, so there we go, there's an empty recipe there. If we go back to the recipe UI, we can get rid of these test items. There's no reason to have them anymore. We've basically done it. Unload of the inventory. I kind of want to, I wonder if I can make them, oh, blueprint callable. I've not actually used the table manager for blueprint callable functions before, so we'll have to see what happens. If I close, oh, if I hit compile, some of them may or may not work, so we'll see what happens. Oh, yeah, okay. So let's, uh, oh, okay, hang on. Right, it's got to not be called the same as the other one. There we go, right. Yeah, there it was indirectly overriding the existing one because they have the same name. I'm surprised it let me do it at all, to be honest. I'm actually surprised ReSharper didn't flag it up, so might be worth looking into at some point. Build failed. No appropriate default constructor. Yeah, okay, so I need to... Do I have... They don't have default constructors. Okay, let's instead of doing this, we want to do load objects. So let's go in here. If item UI class equals null, then we do the same kind of premise in here. But instead, this equals load objects. We've done load objects somewhere else. Find references. I think I need to put an _C on them as well. Yeah, _C to get the class. Okay, hang on. Armor engine. Find class at runtime. Generate class. Searching. That's pretty close. Yeah, that ain't it. How can I get the class name? No, that's basic C++. I'm sure I've had to do this before, but I'm looking at loading objects, which isn't quite what I intended. Perhaps. Wait, what is this? Outer object. So if it's this. That's literally all I'm doing. Using a simple string. Okay, alright, item UI. No. I think I still need to do it like this, so is there just a load class? U class. Oh, good grief. Okay. Um. Hmm. Oh. Oh. Okay. I probably just do this then. Right. There we go. Okay. Problem solved. Right. So that should load the class dynamically when it first gets it. Hopefully that's gonna work for me. Oh, whoops. I need to get rid of the default constructor, which is the whole reason I'm doing this. Right. Round two. And I can go and get a drink. Shall be rewarded with tea. Come on, you got this. I believe in you. You always got to support your compilers, you know? Hey, ain't that something? Cool, right. So that means this will work. I should be able to, in here, go in here, go to the graph. There should be on construct, should be able to do get base game instance, get table. Hang on. Right, we're close. I need to. So I need to get the table manager methods to be blueprint callable. New function. Oh boy, is it in here somewhere? Table manager. You know, I might as well make all of these blueprint callable. No reason not to, right? So, okay, so we go back here and we recompile the code. All that should do is just recompile some generated code that says there's this method here that you could probably make use of. Or thereabouts. Cool. Alright, so now I should be able to go get table manager and then get recipes and then first find item 0. Oh no. Get reference 0 and then set recipe. We're done. And in theory, that will complain. Doesn't match. Turn type doesn't match the reference property. Okay, hang on. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, if we stop this then. Is that gonna work? Sometimes it does. I'm not sure what happened there. Oh, thanks. Uh, Okay, if we recompile, it had a funny moment. It didn't complete it, I think. Okay, right. So if I get rid of this and try again. Yeah, base game instance, get table. That's interesting. Yeah, actions, live coding, base game instance. Yeah, that ain't it. Okay, I'm gonna have to restart this fully. It's referencing the temporary generated version by the looks of it. So I'm going to restart it and see if it's can update everything properly. Anyway, so if I can get it working here, then I can make a crafting UI where I can then use exactly the same concept to make a vertical panel. So then I can have a vertical panel of selectable recipes. And then when you and then generate buttons next to the recipes that's like craft and an amount slider or typey box, whichever works. And then I can just hit the button and I can go, does player have inputs? Yes. Produce outputs. And then from that moment on, I can add like a duration to the crafting. I can make it check whether the inputs happen at the end and stuff. So you can faff around with your inventory as much as you like, but the crafting will be like, it didn't work. There's no items, and then it will like pause itself and all that kind of stuff. Right, round 4 probably at this point. Come on, get table manager, get recipes, and in you go. Compiled, good. Everything's linked, and oh man. I wasn't expecting it to work like 100% first time. It didn't error, so it did actually find a recipe. So if I come into here, we should find that it doesn't run it. That's interesting. How odd. Does the onConstruct not? Okay, well, instead let's do this. Oh, no, hang on. I'm an idiot. That'll be why. Right, it worked. Right, it went through this. New recipe, new recipe barricade, cool. And therefore, well, it's generated them, but it hasn't populated the visuals. It's made 3 of them and 1 output, so it's got the right data, but the item UI isn't updating. So, that's very interesting. How have we managed that? So if I go to item update, so this should be the the implementable event. Let's. So in theory, it might be the item container that I'm not passing that's causing it problems. Does it actually care about it? Because I didn't think it would. Because when we do update item details is valid, clear data, clear item, get amount, set text, yeah. So it's there. Okay, let's have a look in here then. It's funny, it basically worked 100% first time, it's just it's not displaying the data. So yeah, it's getting, hang on. So it's got wood with a texture, right, information, the amount. Intriguing. The item data is blanked out. Hmm. That just forcibly sets it. I have a suspicion that the is valid check is failing in the item data. So let me. So when we come into here, is item valid? Coming out not as -1. So I need to forcibly update that to be not -1, I guess. So in here, I could do something. Well, I could just set manually set it to be like equals, I don't know, 3000, right? So we're creating fake items here, and we're kind of misusing the object. So we'll have to think about the data integrity side of things again. So if I stop this and I hit play and we go back to our inventory, ta-da! It's got wood, nails, and metal. So we have functional recipes. This obviously still has functionality, so I need to disable that because I can, yeah, that's going to break a lot of things because things are null and all that kind of stuff. So I do need to have a property on here called well, hang on. Can you disable? Let's think about that. So in here, so this overrides the method. Okay, let's have a ball disabled. So this does that. Does this do the transfer as well? That's drag drop. So if not disabled, okay. Whoops. And then I think somewhere else we have a thing for it. Let me, can I, it's really annoying. I wish this had, So ReSharper has all of the fancy generate code stuff, but it's like hidden in here. Doesn't even have a default option for it, so it's rather irritating. Getter and setter. Right. And I think I've got this shift click functionality somewhere going on in either the item container UI not in here, not in here. Yeah, it's basically empty in here. I wonder where I've ended up doing all of that. Oh, it is all in here. Ah, okay, cool, perfect, right. So now I can go to my recipes in here, and obviously we have barricade, so let's make it make a bit more sense. So let's say it's 15 wood, 30 nails, and 15 metal, and we hit update on that. I am not found. Oh, there we go. And now we should be able to visualize this recipe. So if I go here and hit tab, well, hey, it's still letting me do drag drop. That's unfortunate. Oh, because I haven't right. Hang on. I'm being an idiot. Right. Recipe. Item UI dot set disabled true. My bad. Right, this time I will get a drink. There we go. Right. Oh, blimmin' hell. Right. It's really is the little things. So that should have loaded here. Right. Round 2. But hey, right, so yeah, 15 wood, 30 nails, 15 metal, and I can't click on it. I do need to disable this kind of stuff at some point. I need to do a massive overhaul on how the UI is handled. Because once I can generate a UI component, the way that it's set up is kind of irrelevant. I can just add and remove things. As you can see here, I've arbitrarily just added a recipe. But yeah, so I can't actually click on them. I can still hover over them. Probably ought to add tool tips and things just to help at some point. But yeah, there we go. We have a recipe. And if I, let's say, add multiple outputs, let's test that. So we want an output of that and that. And I hit play again. And then we go here. Ta-da! Apparently this now makes Barricade Sniper in an SMG. That's really cool. I mean, we could do literally anything, which I just love about this. It's like the whole point of doing this is I can just arbitrarily say like, oh, okay, let's make a military chest piece come out of the of this, and we could use a pistol for one of the inputs. So if I do that and hit this, we've now got this this recipe that takes in a pistol and metal and wood and makes a chest piece and a sniper and an SMG. Huzzah! Right. We are good to go. Ain't that something? And now I can dynamically generate the recipes themselves, and because I know this scales, so obviously it's going to keep adding more. I mean, if I just keep repeating the input outputs, let's see how much this affects it. Cool, okay. I mean, I'm pretty happy with that. Obviously, I'd never make it go more than a certain amount, and I think I would probably custom make it so it works like the inventory, where if it goes beyond a certain amount of items, it will extend vertically. But there we go. We now have some uninteractable UI components that represent recipes. It's a lot of SMGs. Cool. Alright, I think that's going to be it for now. I need to cook and eat some actual food rather than the random nonsense that I made for myself earlier. And I guess I don't really have to. I should probably make a crafting component and probably design the actual UI. So I think realistically here, you would want multiples of these. So if I group it, you make them stack up. Right, so you have this, and then next to each of them, so you'd want a button, and it'd be like craft. Maybe you. What would be better? Because so you could obviously you could have this, right, and then you have text box, and it would be like 10. This kind of thing, right? And you just hit craft, and then down here, you would have like this kind of thing. Right, and it'd be like crafting queue. So this could be like a, I don't know, SMG or something. Something like this. This is why mock-ups are very useful for this kind of thing. So you hit craft, and that, or you select a recipe, and then there's like one of these, and it exists down here somewhere. So you just like move this. Oh. That wasn't quite what I had in mind. Okay, can I ungroup this? Right, if I can group that again. Right, you shimmy that up here. Right, here we go. So you come down here, and then it's like you have this, I don't know, that, and it's probably like 4.6. There you go. So you select that, and it's craft 10, hit that, and it puts it in a queue. So this is infinitely expandable with like a scroll, the usual scroll boxy type thing across here, with a text box thing. So like barricade. blah blah blah. Oh, sorry. Next filter, or call it search. Search is a nicer word for things like that. There we go. So yeah, you got the search box there. Probably some kind of sort thing. I don't know if they've got a equivalent thing for that. I've actually got a search box. Fair enough. What do you normally use? I guess it's a selector, right? Um, uh, name, something like that. I think that's what we're going to go for in the end. So yeah, but I suspect that will probably do for now. Yeah, cool. I'll save this and I will. Oh yeah, obviously I'll just keep going with this all. It's I never thought for a minute that I would actually get to the point where I'm just making new content without actually having to design new systems that are so elaborate they take me like 4 months to produce. I did this in an hour, you know? Like now I just need to make it do that more times based on an array. It's literally doing the exact same thing. It will do what this does again, but just looping through this, the recipes list, and that's it. It will just be whatever it will replicate this, but rather than this get 0, it will just be a pass it in, and this will loop through all of them, generate them, pick out the ones which aren't automated, filter on the ones that you can't craft in your inventory, and then yeah, show you what you've got here basically. And eventually this will need to change from there will be an equivalent of add item to box, but it will be like add input to box, and then the input type here will dictate which way, how it, other UI it adds. So if it was like water or power, there would be another UI component. So like gas, water, gas, liquid, and power, I could have a single UI component for it, which again, that could be similar to this kind of stuff, but it would be like a picture and just a name and then a quantity or something. So yeah. Then I got to make cables and pipes and automation, fun and games. Wonderful. So yeah, I'm really proud of that actually. That's so cool. Um yeah, that's really nice. So yeah, I'll thanks for watching if you're still there, and otherwise I don't know. I hope this can help somebody out at some point in the future. All of this stuff is just, it exists, but it's just never really done like this. They're all tutorials that like put this here, do this makes this happen, and it's like great. I guess you don't sit here and fix the bugs and go, well, actually in this situation I probably ought to do this, and all that kind of stuff. It just doesn't, it never really works like that, and I can't stand follow me along kind of tutorials because they like that. They're good for certain types of content, but this kind of stuff you gotta like learn it. Like really gotta sit there and have someone like explain what's going on, why certain things exist the way they are, and all that kind of stuff. And that's what I'm trying to do anyway. So yeah, I'll see you guys around.